I'm Elizabeth at A Literary Princess, and today I'm doing yet another book haul. So I think I mentioned this in my last book haul, but my exam lists had to be kind of overhauled. And so I thought I would give first a little explanation of what these exam lists exactly are. So I am in a literature PhD program, and we have to take what is called either qualifying exams or comprehensive exams. And the way my university has it is you have 3 reading lists, one in a time period, one in a content area, and one in theory. So originally my time period was the Victorian era, my content was Victorian women writers, and my theory was feminist theory with a specific look toward the women writer. But and my committee head was on board with that, but then I talked with the other 2 members of my committee finally, and they felt that it was all a little too similar and we needed to kind of differentiate things. So we expanded my time period into the whole long 19th century. The women writers get to stay as they are, and then my theory is just broad feminist theory. So this resulted in me needing to buy more books, which I'm never gonna complain about, but my fiance will. So let's jump into these. And also, I'm so sorry if you notice my voice sounds a little weird. I have a cold that I'm getting over, and I still kind of can't breathe out of my nose. All right, let's jump in. First up is a book that was only recently made available again. This is The Missionary by Sydney Owenson, who later became Lady Morgan. This was written in the early 19th century and is set in 17th century India. So my committee member in charge of the long 19th century list does post-colonial literature and theory, and she suggested putting this on there because it's become big recently. And so I've never really heard anything about it, so it should be interesting to explore. Next up is for my feminist theory list. This is on Lies, Secrets, and Silence by Adrienne Rich. I already have another Adrienne Rich book of essays on there, Blood, Bread, and Poetry, which I read for my feminist theory class, but I decided to put this one on here as well because it has the essay When We Dead Awaken, Writing as Revision, which is talking about women writers. And I knew I wanted that on here, and I figured, hell, I'll just get the whole book and put the whole book on there. Next up is another one for my long 19th century list. This is Barchester Towers by Anthony Trollope. So I did already have an Anthony Trollope on there. I had Can You Forgive Her, but my committee member felt that that was not one of his well-known ones and that I should have his well-known one on there. So she suggested Barchester Towers, and I decided to go with that. I don't know much about Anthony Trollope. I've not read any of him, but I've heard some people here on BookTube talk about him, and they seem to really like him a lot, so I'm excited. All right, and then another for the long 19th century list, and this is because it was expanded from Victorian into the long 19th century. This is Ivanhoe by Sir Walter Scott. You kind of can't talk about the novel without talking about Sir Walter Scott, so here we are. I actually already had a copy of Ivanhoe, but it's an antique, and I needed something I can actually read without worrying about it falling apart. And then we have another one for the long 19th century list, and it's one that I hate, and that I kind of deliberately left off my list when it was Victorian era, and then my committee member was like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "But I hate it." And she's like, "It's still important." I'm like, "But I hate it." This is Heart of Darkness by Joseph Conrad. I have had to read this twice for 2 different classes. I hate it. It's so short, and yet. And also, this cover is nightmare fuel. Look at this. This is scary. Phil Hale did this, oil on canvas, in 2007, commissioned by Penguin Books, and it is called Heart of Darkness. Phil Hale, that's nightmare fuel, and you should feel bad for doing that to me. I already have to suffer through the book again. All All right, and then, okay, I think the rest of these are just for the long 19th century list. That one had a really big overhaul. The feminist theory, at least I could like kind of just move some things around and add a few things. And then there was this, and my committee member for this was like, yes, you can keep everything, but you also have to add like an entire second list to it. So this is the letters and diaries of Frances Burney. So technically Burney is 18th century, but she is late 18th century, and she's very important to the development of the novel. She influenced Jane Austen quite a bit. And so I also have her Evelina on my list, which I already have read and own. So my committee member suggested putting on some of her letters because they deal with publishing and the literary marketplace. And now we have another Sir Walter Scott. This is Waverley. So this is the first of the Waverley novels, which is kind of why I went with it, because it was the first one of this whole series of novels that were loosely related. Again, I don't know much about this, but I know Sir Walter Scott's important. Next up, we have Kim by Rudyard Kipling. So again, my committee member is a post-colonial theory person, so she wanted Kipling on here. That's okay with me. I've never read Kim, but I have read and enjoyed Kipling's short stories. So, and this is pretty short. All right, and then last but not least is actually a piece of nonfiction for the long 19th century list. This is Confessions of an Opium Eater by Thomas de Quincey. I have always heard, I've heard this mentioned, but I don't actually know much about it. Obviously, it's about a guy that was addicted to opium. But other than that, I don't really know much about it. So, I guess we'll find out. And also, there's multiple things in here, so it's even shorter than it looks. Oh, it's 80 pages. That's lovely. 80 pages, really? Oh, we love 80 pages. That's good. All right. So, those are my new books. I think I'm done. I mean, I think I've said that before, so I won't say definitively, but I'm pretty sure there will not be any more that I need to buy added on. I think everything else I should be able to get from the library. So that will make Stephen happy if I'm not buying more books. And also, I now think I have enough of the Oxford classics to make a whole shelf of those, so I might be doing that, and you might be seeing that in a video at some later date. So, let me know down in the comments below, have you read any of these? What did you think of them? What book did you last buy? It's been great chatting with you. I will see you soon. Bye.